Hello everyone, it's Jacob with Nerd on the Street, and today I've got a little sneak peek for you into Displaced Season 3. Alright, so recently Nerd on the Street did our Extra Life 2016 live stream, and one of the things that we had scheduled was a Displaced Season 3 sneak peek, and this actually goes back to last year, where the reason we scheduled the Displaced Season 3 sneak peek this year is because last year we were supposed to have a Displaced Season 2 sneak peek, and then we didn't have it. Because the files that I was going to show were on the wrong partition of my computer, and we couldn't get them off while we were streaming. So last year during Extra Life 2015, the Displaced Season 2 sneak peek that we had prepared did not get showed. So this year we were planning to do a Displaced Season 3 sneak peek, even though we actually don't have very much done yet to show. We were going to show what we did have done. However, once again during the stream we ended up not doing that. This year it wasn't because we didn't have the files ready. We had everything ready. It was just because the sneak peek was supposed to be pretty early in the morning, like 3 or 4 a.m., and it was getting pretty slow, and during the stream I made the executive decision to just skip the Displaced sneak peek and move on to a video game, because we had been doing live action stuff for a little while, and people were falling asleep during that 25-hour live stream that we did. So yeah, I did ask in the chat before I made the decision if any Displaced fans were watching that wanted to see the Displaced Season 3 stuff, and nobody who was watching at that particular time really was too interested in Displaced, so yeah, we went ahead and skipped it. So to make up for that, because I'm super happy with how the Extra Life stream turned out, we ended up raising $675. You can go and watch the network updating. In fact, I encourage everyone watching this to go and watch the network update over on the Nerd on the Street Technology channel or nerdonthestreet.com. The December 2016 network update, I talked about how our Extra Life stream went. It went super well, so as a sort of thank you for that, and because we didn't do this during the stream, today I'm going to be showing you a little bit of what we have so far for Displaced Season 3. Now, Season 3 is going to be different than previous seasons. If you've watched Seasons 1 and 2 of Displaced, you know that in the past it's been a Minecraft machinima series, which means that we were acting out the series in Minecraft. And when we first started, the real reason why we chose to make Displaced a machinima series is because we didn't know animation, and animation seemed like a task that was, like actual animation seemed too difficult to learn for some amateurs to do. So we started doing machinima for the series because it was the easiest thing to start with. It was easy to enter into and easy to set up. Now, if you watch episode 1 of Displaced, we did some things that were not very good. Going and watching that episode again, we had cuts in the middle of characters standing still. And you could tell that they were cuts because the characters' arms in Minecraft kind of are always moving back and forth. So you could tell when we did a cut to switch between different characters. It was super obvious, actually. We also had, there was one part in the episode 1, season 1 of Displaced, where we moved the camera in Minecraft. Didn't have smooth moving turned on at all. We moved the camera like with the mouse during a shot, and that's a big no-no because that just looks awful. The idea with machinima is that you're not necessarily hiding the fact that it's in a game, but you don't want the audience thinking about the game. You want the audience thinking about the story behind it. As we progressed through Displaced Season 1 and throughout Displaced Season 2, we got a whole lot better at machinima, and by the end of Displaced Season 2, we felt like we had really gotten good at making Minecraft look good. And it's kind of difficult because people have to watch episode 1 of season 1, the worst looking episode of the whole series, before they get to season 2. It's kind of a bummer that people can't just skip to the good ones. But yeah, we got really good at making Minecraft look professional, making it look like actual animation or a little bit closer to it. We got better at machinima, and as we got better at machinima, I also started to appreciate it more as a genre, rather than just seeing it as a shortcut, like we're doing machinima because we can't do animation. I actually started to sort of identify with machinimators, like this is an actual form of doing things, and it's not just being lazy. There are things you learn when you're doing machinima, there are things you have to know, just like with animation or anything else. However, as we progressed through Displaced Season 2, we also continued having issues with Minecraft and with machinima in general, where things that should have been easy to do, like having characters hold up guns, right? in the last episode of Displaced Season 2, we see several characters holding guns, and there was a graphical glitch with the mod in Minecraft that was providing the guns, where every couple of seconds, the characters holding the guns, it would flicker down and then back up. Just every couple seconds, they'd be holding it, and then it would just flicker down and back up. And we had to go and fix that in editing, because we're not Java developers, and we couldn't go in and fix that glitch ourselves. We had to fix that in post-production, and that was a big problem to do, especially because we were using an interframe codec for editing, because I hadn't learned about interframe codecs yet. Just having to go in and fix part of a frame every 30 frames or so for like 6 minutes, it was a big problem, and that should have been easy to do, having characters hold up their arms. Other things like having Eli take the artificial intelligence out of the computer. It's on a little floppy drive, because that's the best that Minecraft can do in terms of computers. Both the computer mods in Minecraft, the only removable storage you have is floppy drives, floppy disks. And when we had Eli take that floppy disk out of the computer, it just, his hand doesn't connect with the floppy disks. He sort of swings his hand towards the floppy disk, and then it clicks out of the computer and into his hand. It's the little things like that, really, that have led to this decision. Displaced Season 3 is no longer going to be machinimated. It is going to be animated in Blender. And before I show you guys what's going on in Blender, I do want to talk just a little bit about this, because I am a person who is really resistant to change myself, and I value tradition, and I value keeping things, don't fix what isn't broken. And even if it is broken, if you can salvage it, don't throw it away. I am somebody who has been very, very critical of other companies online who have switched the style of their animation midway through a series. I've been very critical of that when other people have done it, and so I want to talk about why I'm now doing it and why we're doing it for our own series. Like I said, when we started Displaced, we called it a animated / machinima series. We were trying to hide the fact that it was using Minecraft, because we saw, Minecraft, that's unprofessional. We knew from the very start, people see a Minecraft series, they're not going to take it as seriously as if they see a hand-animated series. But I want to make it clear that that is not why we're making this change now. Throughout 2 seasons of doing Displaced, which came out to like 3 years of making Displaced the way that it was, making it with Minecraft, I'm more proud now of the fact that we made Displaced in Minecraft than I was when we started 3 years ago. I'm more proud of what we've accomplished now, and I think that we got really good at it. And I don't think that machinimation is just a shortcut to animation anymore. I think that it's actually a valid genre of its own that is different from the animation genre. The reason why I want to move Displaced to actual animation, manual animation, I'll call it, is because I think we hit the limit of how good we can get in Minecraft. As we got better and better at Minecraft animation, I got more proud of the fact that we were doing all of this in Minecraft, which is a limited engine. You can't move the characters in certain ways, you can't do certain things, and we found ways to do things that you can't do just playing the game, through overlaying animations that we made in other programs like Synfig Studio, which is a free and open source alternative to Flash animation. Just overlaying solid things, just still images that we made in Inkscape vector graphics editor. And through trickery, like cutting different things together and overlaying different videos that are from Minecraft, but making things happen in our videos that cannot happen in Minecraft itself. We got a whole lot better at it, and I think it's really cool how good we were able to get using that limited engine that Minecraft provides. But I don't know how much better we would be able to get from the end of Displaced Season 2. I think the end of Displaced Season 2, we were really starting to reach that point where it's no longer a matter of how do we do this in the game, to a point where we were just asking, all right, this is what the game can do. Now, how do we do what we want using video editing trickery? Basically, yeah, I don't think we can get really much better than Displaced Season 2, and even though I think that it turned out really well, I think we could have done it better, or I don't know if we could have done it better, but it would have looked better had it been manually animated. And for Displaced Season 3 and the seasons going forward, we have planned out what we want to happen, and we have certain things in mind that we want to do. And the things that we want to do, they're just not going to look as good in Minecraft as they would manually animated. Where we want to go, the places we want to show in the series, and the characters that we want to show in the series, we can make Displaced Season 3 machinimated. Displaced Season 3 was actually planned to be machinimated when we were coming up with what was going to happen in it. We were thinking, all right, what would be semi-easy, at least possible? What would be possible to machinimate? We only planned things that we knew we could do in Minecraft. We can make Displaced Season 3 in Minecraft, but if we do, it's just not going to look as good as it will the way that we're going to make it manually animated, I think. Based on my experience machinimating, and based on what I know we can and can't do, and the problems that we've had, even though we've found solutions to most of our problems that we've had machinimating, based on the problems that we have had machinimating, I think I am fairly confident that even though we're not professional animators, I think we can make it look better manually animating it than we could ever possibly do in Minecraft. That said, the look and feel of the show, I do want to keep some consistency. You know, in Minecraft, we couldn't just have square people walking around, so we put the power suits on all the characters, and then we just made up the reason of, oh, they're wearing full body armor, and that is why they look like robots. They're supposed to be wearing armor. One thing that in Minecraft could never ever be done, no matter what we did, was taking the armor off, taking the helmet off and showing somebody's face. That is something that Minecraft, we can hack things, and we can do editing tricks, and we can overlay images, but we will never be able to show any character's face in Minecraft, whereas animation, that is something that is able to be done. But in terms of consistency, they're still going to be wearing the same armor, and things are still going to be sort of blocky. It's not going to be made to look like it was in Minecraft. Like, we're not going for a Minecraft feel specifically. But in terms of the things that you have already seen, such as our characters' armor, the artificial intelligences and their floppy disks, and the ships that we have shown, and other things that we have shown up to this point, we are going to try and keep everything looking similar to what they looked like in Minecraft, because I don't want it to be like just a completely different style. There has to be consistency, because it's the same series. This is not a different series with the same plot. This is supposed to be a continuation of what we have been doing. I'm not sure what else I can say to give you guys a good idea of this change that's happening, but all I know is that I anticipate some of you will not like it, because I don't like it when other people do this kind of thing, and usually when I don't like it, when other people do something, I avoid doing that, but in this case, I'm going ahead and doing it anyway. So I do want to say something I'm doing differently than others is I'm not just saying we're making this change, we're animating it now, that's going to be how it is. This is not a hands down kind of thing that's going on. I am happy to answer questions that you guys have about this. I'm happy to address concerns that you guys have about this. If you're unclear on what things are going to be like for Displaced Season 3, or if you have concerns or just questions in general about Displaced Season 3, and its animation style, I encourage you to leave a forum post at nerdonthestreet.com, and anytime that somebody leaves a post that I can answer, I try to answer them on there. And we can go back and forth and have a conversation about this if you want to. Because Displaced has very few fans right now, but I value each and every one of those fans. So if any of you have questions or concerns, like I said, nerdonthestreet.com, leave a forum post in the Displaced section, and I will try and get back to you if it's something that I can talk about. So that's what's going on with the new animation style, and a little bit of background about why we're doing it. If you're not aware, Blender is an animation program. It's a 3D animation program, and there's several aspects to animation. There's modeling, which is shaping the actual 3D shapes that are going to be used, and then there's rigging, which is telling the computer how those shapes are supposed to move around. And then there's texturing, which is telling the computer what those shapes are supposed to look like on the surface. and then there's the actual animation itself, which is telling the computer exactly where the characters are going to move, what the timings are going to be for their moves. So when I say animation, just so you guys know, that can mean two different things. Animation can either mean the entire process of modeling, rigging, texturing, and animating. When I say animation, it can be the entire process of making things happen in a program such as Blender, or animation can also mean just the specific action of taking things that are already there and moving them around in a pre-timed out way. So yeah, Blender is a 3D animation program. It's free, it's open source, and I believe it's published under the GNU General Public License. And if that is correct, that means it was also freedom respecting. So it's just about as good as we can get here. Other animation programs you may have heard of include Autodesk Maya or Autodesk 3ds Max, or some other programs, or Poser. I don't know too many other ones off the top of my head. Most of them are not available on Linux, and those that are not open source. So yeah, like I said, without further ado though, we're going to go ahead and jump in, and all I'm going to show you guys today is what I had planned to show you during the Extra Life stream. So here you go. Alright, so here we are on our desktop. As you can see, I'm recording my microphone and our screen is there. So there were two things I planned to show you guys during the Extra Life stream. One of them was a song, some music that will be used in Displaced Season 3, and then the other one was an actual character model in Blender. Now I just spent like 20 minutes talking to you guys about the new animation model. We're also doing a slight change to how we do music in Displaced. Now I personally am the only one who has done music for Displaced in the past, and that's how it looks like it's going to be for Displaced Season 3. In the past, what I've done is I have always just gone episode by episode. I edit the episode, and then on top of that I overlay music, and I come up with the tunes for the music on the fly. Like while I'm making music for specific episodes, that is when I'm coming up with new themes and things. You may have noticed during the live action section of this video that I was wearing an RTX 2016 shirt. I got to go to Austin, Texas last summer to the Rooster Teeth convention with Adam, the other person who is a big Displaced person, and the two of us went to some panels down there, and we learned about how Rooster Teeth makes some of their content. Now, one of the panels we went to was the Jeff Williams Ruby music panel, and he talked about how he does music for Ruby. And he actually said something that surprised me. He said that when he does music for Ruby, he actually comes up with the songs, comes up with the tunes for his songs as he's doing the scores, and then after he's done, he goes back and makes the soundtrack for Ruby, which is songs that aren't actually in the series but are about the series. Some of them sections are in the series, but yeah, I would have thought he would make an entire song first, and then the Rooster Teeth editors put part of that song into the show. But no, he actually only makes the part that is used in the show, and then after the season is done, then he goes back and finishes all of these half-finished songs that he has. So I'm going to go ahead and, rather than copying him and doing what he's doing, it appears I've already sort of been doing what he's doing, and I'm going to do instead the opposite of what he's doing, but what I thought he was doing. I'm going to actually make a Displaced soundtrack, and it is going to be an instrumental soundtrack because we don't have any vocalists here, and I'm not a good poet, so I don't write lyrics for my songs. But yeah, we're going to have a Displaced instrumental soundtrack that is made up of full-length songs. And one of these, now if you are interested in music, you can go to musescore.com/JacobGKAU, and you can see all the songs that I'm making. This song right here, Adrift, this was the closing credits song for Displaced Season 2. So you can go here and you can listen to it, and you can actually see the notes if it loads. There we go. You can see the notes here, and you can see what this song is made of. And I think that's kind of cool, just like open source software lets you go and see the code, and that can help you as a programmer grow. This is sort of open source music. You can go and see how this music is made up, and if you are interested in music, or if you're a musician yourself, you can look at that and maybe learn something. Or, you know, I look at other people's music on this website and elsewhere to sort of learn how to achieve certain effects in music. So yeah, this is an 89 measure song. This was about a 3-minute song here, 2 minutes 40 seconds, and this was really fun to make because when I'm doing music normally for Displaced, like most of these other things on my profile. See if I go here, this is a good one. This was a good song that I made here. This was oh, that's loud. This was sort of a redux of the Displaced Season 1 music. But when I was making this, I was on a schedule. I had like less than a day to make this entire song, so we've only got a limited number of tracks here, and then I didn't have a whole lot of time to go back and really play with these chords and make things sound as good as possible. And in fact, there's even a mistake later in this song. One of these chords somewhere in here has a wrong note in it. And I've talked about that on the Nerd on the Street podcast before. But yeah, it's not as polished and it's not as big. And I just make it for the specific episode. This was for episode 4 of season 2. And yeah, I made it on the clock, and I didn't get to polish it up a whole lot. Whereas this, Adrift, this was actually a song that I made for a school assignment. Last year, my senior year of high school, I took AP Music Theory, and this was my final project. We all had to write some sort of song. We had very loose parameters for what that song had to be, and so I went ahead and knocked out 2 birds with 1 stone, and I said, all right, for my final project in this class, I'm going to make the credits music for Displaced Season 2. But I got to go and I got to actually spend a lot of time, including some class time, on this, and coming up with different themes, new themes that we haven't heard before, and making some really cool stuff happen with a lot of different instruments and different parts of this. So yeah, this is something I'd like to do more. And rather than just doing 1 of these per year for credits, or 2 of these per year for opening music and credits, I'd like to have this better music in every single episode. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm actually going to, as we're working on animation for Displaced Season 2, I'm also going to be working on the side, feature-length songs like this, and then we can go and use the themes from these songs in the scores for episodes. But this is the sort of song that is going to make up the Displaced Season 3 soundtrack. So I've only got 1 completely finished. Now I had several that I was working on at once. The 2 that I was going back and forth between showing on the Extra Life stream were Unnamed Displaced song right here, and some of this stuff isn't mine. Some of this stuff is just arrangements of other people's music that I've done. But yeah, I was thinking about the Unnamed Displaced song. This is a slower song, and then Destiny is a faster song. And I wanted to show the faster song, but the slower songs are actually easier for me to write. It's actually common for me to end up scrapping a song because I accidentally just made it too slow. But yeah, this is a song. It doesn't have a name yet, but this is one of the songs that will probably be in the soundtrack for Displaced Season 3. So we're going to play this, and then I'm going to minimize this. Sorry to waste even a couple more minutes of your guys' time, but wanted to throw that out there. These longer songs is something that I am going to be doing in preparation for Season 3. And then that way, when I go to write the scores, I'm not just going to be running into every single episode blind. I'll be able to pull up these long songs, pick out individual tunes from these songs, and use that in the score rather than just going week to week with the score. So yeah, I'm going to turn this down. We are going to play this. But yeah, in the background there. Now we're going to go ahead and head into the Blender stuff. So as you can see, there is some other things that I have here. What I'm showing you is not all that we have done for Season 3's animation, but it is the main thing, and this is what I was planning to show at the Extra Life stream. So this is what the new animation style looks like. This is Blender, if you've never seen an animation program before. So what we're in right now is a 3-dimensional view of, as you can see, our character right there. These dots out here, these are lights, and they're sun lamps. So these particular lights, it doesn't matter where they are. I can move this one down here, it'll look the exact same. The only thing that matters with these sun lamps is the direction that they're pointing. And I've got one pointing this way to light up the back, and one pointing this way to light up the front of him. So this is what things look like when you're modeling in Blender. And why don't I go ahead, I'm going to turn off the armature here, the bones. There we go. Alright, so this is what things look like when you're modeling in Blender. Now this particular suit for Eli and the other characters wearing the armor suits, the power suits, I actually got to take a shortcut with this. So the power suits come from a Minecraft mod called Modular Power Suits. And if we do Minecraft Modular Power Suits, MachineMuse.net, this is the guy that makes Modular Power Suits, and if you go to the download section, you've got downloads for Minecraft for this, and then you've also got source code down here. As you can see, source is available on GitHub. So I talk about often the fact that I prefer to use free and open source software. Well, what does that mean? For instance, this Minecraft mod is free and open source software, so we can download the compiled java.jar file that you add to Minecraft to use this mod. But then the code for this mod is actually right here on GitHub, and if you're a programmer, you can go in here and you can see how this mod works. So like if we go in here, I don't know what I'm doing, but like this is some code that, this is some Java code that runs when you use this mod. Also on this GitHub page is resources and assets, models. We've actually got 3-dimensional models of the armor because Minecraft needs to know how to make the armor. So this is where that happens. If we go to, what's an example that I have? I don't know if I have an example in there. Yeah, here. So arms, mps_arms. This is the object file, and this is a bunch of numbers, but this is telling Minecraft where all of the different vertices and faces are that make up this this armor, this particular object. This is all just for the arm. All of this entire file is just for the arm. And then we've got a material page, and this is not useful to me. This tells Minecraft what color and everything to make the armor. But yeah, this, what you can do is you can save this as a .obj file, a .object file, and Blender can import that as an object. So for Eli specifically, I actually got a starting point. Now, I did not just import that stuff. I did go in and make changes to Eli after I imported that, and I will probably continue to make changes. For instance, I'm thinking about adding hands to him. This object right here was not here, and neither was this one. Yeah, that was not there when I started. And several of these meshes, basically when I started, modular power suits, I've actually had people think that Displaced was a series about robots before. I've had people think that Displaced was about robots because, as you can see, modular power suits does not like have a closed suit that it creates. It basically just sticks some armor on top of your player model, and then we had the players drink invisibility potions in Minecraft so that you couldn't see skin through these sections. Because what kind of power suit would it be if you could see skin through it? But if you can actually look at Displaced, and if you watch closely, you'll see when they're moving their heads up and down, even from the front sometimes, you can see through their armor, and you can see the nothing in there. It's like they're ghosts. Other places where this was apparent was like the feet. The boots did not actually connect to the legs in the official model, and the torso did not connect to the legs up here. I think the legs were smaller. Also, things clipped a lot more. So far I've narrowed the arms a bit and also added this angle to them. You can see there it does go into the torso a little bit, but yeah, I've gone in and I've moved this out of the torso. Originally it was closer to like that kind of a thing, and that doesn't look as convincing because his arm is inside of his stomach, and you can't do that if you're an actual physical person. I'm gonna put back these back plates, but yeah, these I added from scratch, which I know it's like, oh, they're just plates, you know, that's not that hard to add. But then also I did go and edit some of the other pieces of this, and I will continue to do that. Now, as you can see, he's just white. He's just standing here. He's white, completely just generic color. The materials from Minecraft did not import into Blender, so I had to go and texture him. Now, this texturing is still a work in progress. I'm going to go and polish up the texturing, but yeah, this is what it looks like with textures on right now. And now you can see the shadow across his face. See the sun lamp is going that direction, and this one's behind him, so he's got a shadow going there because the lamp is in front of him and to his left. But yeah, this is what he looks like. I tried to match the color sort of from Minecraft, although it is a little darker, I think. I've also got, as you can see here, his armor is a little dirty because he's been walking around for a long time now. He, trekked across half the United States in Season 1, and then he was running back and forth in Season 2, and now he's arriving on the Destiny. So there is some wear happening on his armor, some wear and tear, some grime starting to sort of build up, although it is armor, so it's fine. And if you've ever seen this before, I'm going to switch to compositing view, and you've probably seen this before if you've seen behind the scenes for other animation things, but you might not have known what it actually does. I'll switch this to rendered view, because normally when they show you this kind of thing, they say, oh, this is the compositing window. It's super complicated, and that's all they really say about it. So how this works is, this is a flowchart where you tell, this is the output, so you're using a flowchart to tell the computer what he is supposed to look like. So we're going to zoom in really closely here on his, I don't know, just his head there, I guess. So here we've got the color, and if that's all that's going into this mix here, there we go. As you can see, with nothing going into this output except just the color coming in and then the factor, if we set the factor to just the color, he's just solid blue. No texture really, it's just a flat color. There is some shadows on the on some of the polygons there, but yeah, it's really flat and looks plasticky, looks artificial. Doesn't look very convincing. So yeah, what we do is we say, in addition to this blue, let's also add some black for dirt, and then right now this is just gonna transition, 1 is black, 0 is blue, and then halfway is a dark blue. But what we can do, we've got an image here, and this image is an image of dirt. It's just a picture of grime. And then what we do is we put that, we're running it through a multiplication filter to sort of amp up the amount of grime that is on him. And then we run that into our mix shader here, and now it's using this picture and it's saying, all right, wherever the dirt is in the picture, put the black. And then wherever there's no dirt in the picture, put this blue. And yeah, that we get a material that looks a little more convincing than if he was just completely solid. Now this is a super simple composite thing. This is probably the simplest compositing window you've ever seen if you're not an animator who's done this sort of thing yourself. Professional productions, you know, you've normally got dozens and dozens of these nodes here, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. I will continue to polish Eli. This was just the sort of preview. Like I said, this was supposed to be a preview for an Extra Life stream. This was just what I was going to show during that stream. This was just sort of a filler texture. I will go back and make that more convincing later. So yeah. So I'll switch back to default view. Now that we've got him textured, how do we actually move him around? As you can see, if I grab one of these things, see his arms just coming off. That's not what we want, right? We don't want that to happen, and I can rotate his arm, except it's rotating from the center, so that doesn't really work very well. You saw earlier before I turned it off, we've got this armature here, and this is a bone system. So these are bones that I have assigned to the different meshes. These shapes are called meshes, and then these things here are called bones. And yeah, I've assigned these, so this mesh right here is assigned to this bone. And if we go into the mesh, we can go and see our constraints, and this is set to be a child of this bone. So wherever we move this bone, the arm follows, and that is how that works. We can move the arm and, you know, that'll just break it, but if we move the bone, then the arm will follow along. We set the bone's origin to up here. Now also, if I click G to grab and then I move my mouse, you know, I'm trying to move his arm away from his body right now, it's not moving away. His arm is stuck to his shoulder, and the reason that is because this bone is actually an extension, an extrusion really of this bone, and this bone was extruded from this bone. This is the main bone, so if I click G, I can move his entire body here. But then if I go to a branch of that and I try and move that, it will not disconnect. It will only rotate, and this, you know, we wouldn't do this in a shot, but this kind of a thing we would do in the shot to move his arm up. So yeah, I can actually, oh, I am in pose mode. So this right now is his, all right, so this is his rest position. So I can pose him, I can put his arm up, and I can, you know, I can bring his leg out and then his foot gonna back down a little bit. It's like he's taking a step there. Yeah, and this kind of thing it's gonna be a lot more work than this, but that's the sort of convincing-ish. He's taking steps there, and I know right now we can see breaks in his armor and stuff, but just for the purpose of showing you the rigging, this sort of looks like he's taking a step, right, and he's holding his hand out like he's about to handshake something, or he's about to, I don't know, maybe push a button or something in front of him that he's walking towards. We can switch now between resting position, which this is the default position for him, and then the pose that we have set. So that's cool, I think. And then we can set this to rendered view, so this is what he looks like standing still, and then this is what he looks like posed. And then we can grab one of these bones here, like his left arm, and we can rotate his left arm up and down. And this is flickering because it's re-rendering the texture every time I move anything. But yeah, if we let it stay still and render there, then this is what he kind of looks like. I wonder if I can grab his, yeah. So now it just kind of looks like he's walking and he's swinging his arms as he's walking, right? So that's cool. And and then at any point we can put him back to his resting position. But yeah, that's how moving him around actually works. We have these bones assigned to him, and these bones can get way more intricate. You know, you can have hundreds of bones on an object. Since he's wearing the armor, it really simplifies that, but we might add more later. Another thing is there is a way to make Blender automatically, like for instance down here, how you can see his armor coming apart. We can make Blender keep those things together and just sort of stretch him out. That's not how this is set up because that takes a little bit more work, and like I said, this was supposed to be just a preview for the Extra Life stream. But yeah, that's sort of how that works. And then the last step is actually animation, and for that, what we have is this timeline down here. Let's say frame 0. This is just going to be a super, alright, frame 1. So to actually animate something just really quickly, not how we're going to want to do this when we're actually animating the series, but just for the purpose of demonstration. I'm just going to try, if we set a keyframe here on this bone, there, and then we come back here, and then we rotate this guy, put him back. I guess that's not the best way to do that, is it? Set a keyframe there. Now, as we move from one keyframe to the next, his arm is going to move. So if I do that with the other bones as well, what were we at, 150? Yeah. If we go here, that out of the way, set a keyframe here for this guy and this guy, go back to frame 1, set this to 0, keyframe, set this to 0, keyframe, and set this to 0 and add a keyframe. Looks like we also are going to want to do this. Rotation. Here and here. So now, as we go from keyframe 1 to keyframe 150, he moves. So I can Alt-A, should play this, yeah? You can see very slowly, but that's how that works. Let me, hang on, Alt-A. Set this to 150. There we go. And if we change this to rendered view, this is going to be rendering in real time, so it might not be very smooth, but if we do Alt-A, you can see Eli is now moving, walking extremely slowly. But yeah, and he's also flickering a ton. But yeah, if we go back to here, and then now we can even turn the bones off, but they're still there, they're just invisible. So yeah, that is how that's gonna work. As you can see, it takes a lot of work just to do something incredibly simple like having him do this tiny little movement here, making a 90-minute production for Displaced Season 3 using this program. It's gonna take a while. It's not gonna happen overnight. You can tell there are a lot of things about this program that I don't even know right now, and I've been working with this program for over a year now, trying to learn it. But I found that the best way to learn how to do something is just to do it. You know, we could not have learned all of the things about Minecraft Machinima that we learned unless we just went and made Displaced Seasons 1 and 2, and that's what we did, and we learned a whole lot. So now we're just going to go for it. We're going to try and make Displaced Season 3, and we're going to see how much we can learn while making Displaced Season 3. And then hopefully our future productions that are not Displaced related, we can start off at a better spot than we're starting for Displaced Season 3 here. So yeah, like I said, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, nerdonthestreet.com, just leave a message in our forums, and I will be happy to get back to you. If this looks like something you're interested in doing, and you're interested in helping with Displaced animation, help is wanted at this point. But I also understand that, you know, if you're a fan of the series, you might not want to help because it's definitely gonna break the illusion if you're helping. So yeah, I'm gonna not save this, but yeah, that is where we're at right now. That is Eli, and you guys heard it didn't last very long, but you guys heard the Displaced song here, and there will be more to come. So yeah, this will be up on my MuseScore profile as well as soon as I think of a name for it. So yeah, this is going to be a pretty long video. I do want to say one more thing. In the future, for all behind the scenes videos like the one that you're watching right now, you are no longer going to see those here on youtube.com/JacobGKAU. That is the entertainment channel on YouTube. This is the entertainment channel. We've had behind the scenes things here before, like this Displaced editing behind the scenes. That turned out really well, I thought. We've had behind the scenes stuff here before. In the future, if you want to see behind the scenes stuff, go to youtube.com/nerdonthestreet. And our technology channel is where behind the scenes stuff is going to be from now on. So this is the last behind the scenes video you guys are going to see. The next thing that you're going to see probably is just going to be Displaced Season 3 Episode 1, but it'll be a while till you see that. If you're subscribed to the entertainment channel, you might see some other unrelated things before that. But yeah, if you want to continue seeing behind the scenes stuff, if this kind of thing interests you, from now on, that will be over at our technology channel. Of course, if you're on nerdonthestreet.com, everything is on here. It's all mixed together on the homepage, and then you can go and sort by tech videos. And that is where future behind the scenes will come. That is a big change that we're making for you Displaced fans, so I wanted to make sure I got that in there. Drawing a blank on anything else that I had to tell you guys. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.